Welcome to the Nail Hub podcast powered by Nails Magazine, where you'll find all the business advice, motivation, and nail industry information you need to be a successful nail professional. I'm Elizabeth Morris, and thank you for joining me today.
Cheers. Oh, we're having tea, of course.
Yeah, what did I do with mine?
Oh, here. Yeah, with my... cheers then.
Skål.
Skål. With my newly bought water boiler. Mm-hmm. We all need one.
Yeah, you got a brand new electric kettle, which I love electric kettles. Mm-hmm. So nice.
Yes.
Alrighty. Well, this is the second time you've been on the Nail Hub.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And you haven't been on the Nail Hub since, I think, before you did NTNA and all of that stuff, right? It's been 3 years? 2.5 years?
3, yeah.
3 years?
It should be like 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember the first time because I randomly emailed you and I was like, hey, you want to be on my podcast? And you're like, sure. So I remember calling you and like randomly recording it over the phone.
Oh, I know.
But that was awesome.
It was.
And since then, a lot has changed, right? So.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that should have been like even before like NTNA. Or like when it started or something.
I think it was right before.
Oh, my God.
So before you were put through all of the challenges and everything, all the
I've
craziness.
been thinking like if I should like watch or listen to it, but I feel like, oh God, it's gonna be so cringy.
No, I hate listening to old stuff or like watching old videos. Yeah. It's just the worst.
I know.
It's so awkward. Mm-hmm. But who cares about that?
Yeah.
We're talking about now. Mm-hmm. So this year, last year I did all kinds of stuff with the podcast. This year, I really started to take note of all of the stuff that's happening in our industry. Mm-hmm. So we've seen a lot of kind of a switch from very educated to people really, I think, struggling and trying to find maybe some easy workarounds to stuff. Like we've seen a lot of dip system stuff come up, a lot of, different types of ways to get people to be able to do nails. And I've also seen some things in the industry that I think, in my personal opinion, are not necessarily the direction I would love my industry to go. So it made me think about 2018, what kind of industry do we want to have? Are we even thinking about that? I feel like a lot of us are just at our tables working one set after another, and we're not actually thinking about forward. Where are we going?
Yeah, sure.
So on that note, I wanted to find out from you, especially with all the stuff that you've been doing over the last 3 years since we talked.
Yeah.
And I know you've been up to a lot of stuff. What's your take on it? And, what would you like, if you could make your ideal industry, what would that look like?
Well, I think that obviously a lot less drama.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, that's what it all comes down to.
That's a good point.
No, I mean, I think that when I did the NTNA stuff, what hit me the most was that, oh my God, are people really this jealous? And are people like really this evil? Like, no, right. we went through so much crap. Like from the other contestants, like, and people that was supporting these other contestants, and it was a total mess. And that was pretty much why it started out with me and Sarah. We really bonded because like the first week I won the first challenge. Yeah. And I at the moment I won that challenge, oh my God, I got so much hate like targeted on me, and like the others, I'm not gonna say like everyone, because it wasn't all of them. It was just kind of a couple, but at least a couple. That's too much. Yeah. So it was too much going on. They were sending emails to like Nails Mag and saying, oh, they're cheating and blah blah blah. It was like all this crap. And then when Sarah won the next challenge, she got all of that. So that's kind of where I reached out to her, and we started talking, and we talked every single day for a year, 9 months, because we needed that support, because I would say like we're a little bit more sensitive in that sense, so we needed help and support from each other. And then Winnie came into our little group like later on when she was on the top 3, and we really we hit it off like extremely well. So I would say that because we helped each other from day one. And like, well, at least for me and Sarah, I was so happy for her whenever she won a challenge, and we supported each other and kind of gave each other advice. I mean, we would have even like sent like a little, you know, picture of whatever we were doing, and we were talking about it, and like, no, you need to change that, you need to do that, and she did the same with me, so we really helped each other. And I mean, I was so happy if she won, and you know, same thing
and
back.
vice versa, yeah.
Yeah, and then final, same thing with all of us three, that we supported each other all the time. Like, I had my back problems, and they were like supporting me every single day. Sarah had her kids, and we supported her. Winnie had a problem with her arm, and we supported her. And I think that is what I want to see more in the industry.
Yeah.
I know there's a picture out there when from the finals when we were sitting next to each other holding hands.
Yeah, I remember you posted that too, which was really cool.
And it was just it's just a picture of us holding hands, and I think that kind of sums up what I want to see in the industry. Like, we need to support each other. Hate and jealousy, it's gonna bring everyone down.
Right.
So I just wish people could be more supportive of each other and don't be jealous. I mean, there's enough space for everyone.
Yeah. I mean, where do you think that kind of, you know, stems from? Like, if you had an idea of, you know, how it could change and how it could be fixed, I mean, what would you say? You know, do you feel like the drama comes from a certain source, or do you think that people don't give themselves enough credit and they, you know, what do you think it is?
I would say probably just insecurity. And people are afraid that they won't make enough money, or, I mean, it's a tough business. So I think that it's just kind of the survival of the fittest, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I definitely agree with you on a lot of points on that, which is there is actually one of my favorite quotes is a rising tide floats all boats. And actually Alyssa told me that while we were here. And I was like, yes, I love that quote. But it is true, because even if someone else is raising the waters, right, per se, everyone else gets benefited by it, which is, you know, whether you're able to take classes, right? Like, I just was able to take a class with you while I've been here, which was awesome. And rather than having feelings of jealousy about it and being like, oh, I wish I was in the spotlight right now, you know, or trying to make it about me, I really enjoyed learning from you and just letting you do your thing and kind of seeing you in your natural environment. And I think a lot of people maybe just need to relax.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Definitely. Just relax a little bit and have fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like we are in a fun industry.
Yeah.
And people make it so serious.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's like one of the funnest industries ever. We get to play with nails and glitter and crystals and all this stuff, and they're so dead serious about it. Like, it's life or death.
There's so much drama going on everywhere.
Yeah.
But I think that, you know, if we just think about, like, a salon. I mean, how much drama do you get at a salon?
Right.
Only women. I mean, it's going to be a lot of drama.
Yep.
And that is just that tiny little space. And then just think about, like, the whole nail industry, like, mostly women.
Yep.
You know, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it was like a business with only men. I don't know what that would have looked like. But it is a drama business.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of women. So, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just how it is.
Yeah, I like that a lot. So for you, you know, I always bring up this idea because I'm psycho and this is what I think about late at night while I can't sleep, is I imagine myself at 125 years old, shriveled in my little bed, and I think about looking back on my life and going, what did I do, right? What did I contribute? Am I happy? Do I remember anything? And I wanted to hear from you, you know, what would you love to have as your mark on the world? You know, I know you've got a lot of stuff in the works right now. And I know you're one of those people that you do really care about what you do. You put your whole self into everything that you do, whether it's dance, singing, right? You're doing your podcast in Swedish. You're, you know, an amazing educator and nail artist, and you literally throw yourself into everything. So obviously this is, you know, maybe an easy question for you.
No, probably not. But anyways.
But what would be the mark you'd want to say, hey, this is what I contributed to the world or the nail industry or whatever that would be?
I would say, like, I've always had this passion of taking people in and make them feel better. If I would go back, what is it, like 7 years, when I was doing my dancing and everything, I actually started a dance group called Mini Vibe. And I actually had already a dance group called Feminine Vibe, and that was for like the little, like older girls. I mean, they were maybe like 14, 15, no, like 13 even. And then we had like an audition to this, like at the dance school where I worked. And I had a bunch, like 1 year I had a bunch of like 10, 12-year-old girls that really wanted to be in this group because they looked up to these girls so much. And one of these girls, I knew her a little bit from before, and her mother, and I knew that she had some troubles with like bullying in school. Like she was a little bit of an outcast. She was having a hard time. So I figured, you know what? I'll start Mini Vibe, from Feminine Vibe to Mini Vibe.
That's cute.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take care of this girl. So I took, it was maybe like 9 girls, and they became my life, because I wanted them to have a safe environment, like a safe spot. When we got into the dance studio, they wouldn't have to bother or care about anything that was going on like outside of that, like if they were being bullied at school or having a hard time with their families or friends or whatever it could be. Like in here, it's a safe zone. And I was like their mother / big sister. And I taught them about like, it was more than dance. It was kind of like, how do you present yourself? Like, how do you act towards other people? And it was kind of, kill them with kindness. You never do anything like this. And it was And I taught them like this moral kind of stuff, and really wanted them to become the best that they could be and be nice people. We don't bully other people. We treat other people with respect, and they were supposed to set a good example for the younger kids that were brought up with the dance, like within the dance school and everything. And we did that for a couple of years, maybe like 5-6 years. So I followed them. I saw them grew up.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and they were my girls.
Yeah.
So, and it's so cool when I look back, because they did really become a huge role model for so many of the other girls, because they were so well kind of brought up. And I taught them like, so when we were doing these huge shows together with the entire school, you need to do this, you need to present yourself in this way, you need to be nice and respectful towards the younger kids and the older kids, and so that was really important to me. So that is, I think, that kind of sums up what I do. Like it's just kind of comes pretty naturally that I want to have a bunch of people that I can kind of, so I can use to set a good example for the business that I'm in. Yeah. Regardless if it's like dancing or nails or whatever it could be. Right. So I think that, when it comes to YouTube or Instagram, like hate comments, stuff like that, I always try to set a good example and ignore and block and be like, no, we're all friends in here. We don't say bad things. So I think that would be a goal for me to, just make everyone, all the hate that's going around in the world, I just can't take it. I can't take it. And I don't understand people that sit behind a computer and say evil or, weird stuff to people and just to make them sad. I don't understand that. So I think that's one of the main things I want to do.
I like that. I think that's really good. Yeah, I think, they're called internet trolls, right? I mean, it's these people who are keyboard warriors. It's people that aren't creating, aren't, there in person, have no idea who you are, and just have an opinion about stuff. And of course, haters are going to hate. But I like that. I think if you can pass that on to a lot of other people, which is even in the face of these haters, even when you're confronted with this type of drama, still being professional, still keeping it together, still showing people that you have kindness and love in your heart. And I think that's awesome. And I think kind of like what we're talking about with the drama, I mean, at the end of the day, getting yourself involved in the drama doesn't really solve anything. And it is really hard, because I'm sure you want to punch a lot of people in the throat, like I like to say. Definitely. I have that all the time where I'm like, oh my God, I just want to punch you right now. Yep. But that really doesn't solve anything. No. So I think it's cool that you're trying to be a role model for people and always show that side of your professionalism.
Yeah. No, it's been an extreme learning curve for me. Yeah. Because I'm always that kind of person. Like, if I see someone being bullied online, I jump straight into it and start, like, what do you say? What I do? I just defend that person in any way I can. And I always get the biggest punch, like, in the end of it. But it's like, I take it. I want to stand up for that little person, and I can't help it. That's just kind of, it's in my system. I just need to do it. But yeah, so that's probably what I would want to do. But, like me, a couple of years back, if I got a hate comment or anything, I would, first of all, I would be so devastated, so sad, and I would probably answer something like really cheeky back. Do something that, it's a newbie. Yeah. A newbie when it comes to hate comments. Blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. But then it's definitely been a learning curve. So now, I was put in a very, like, public situation, and I had to defend myself, from something that could definitely, it wasn't going to ruin my brand or anything in Sweden, but it would have put me in a weird situation. Like, right.
Yeah, you were telling me a little bit about it.
Yeah, I know, yeah. So, but what I'm really proud of is that when people actually reached out to me and asked for my side of the story, I just told them that, I did it in as a professional way that I possibly could, because I wanted to stop the whole thing. And I think that I did, because I didn't want to have more drama, more negativity or anything. I didn't even want to put more, I didn't want to put more hate towards the other end of the story. Like, I just wanted it to quit. And I actually got a couple of comments saying that, like, applaud. Yeah, that was good. That was good. Like, you stopped it right there. It was very professional. And I think that that's the way to go.
Yeah. What do you think has helped you? So, I mean, if you were to look back at yourself, because I know I've matured a lot just from these types of experiences, and you kind of learn the lesson sometimes of, oh, maybe I should have handled that differently. But in your perspective, if you were to look at Celina, who she was 5 years ago versus today, and obviously you've got a thicker skin, which is, something that just happens naturally. But what would you say is something that helps you? Because I know there's probably a lot of people in the industry and probably a lot of people that are listening that are saying, hey, that's great that you can be so professional, but I don't feel like I have that capability. What would you say was something that kind of helped you develop this ability?
For me, it was just getting punch after punch after punch. It's sad, but for me personally, that's what I need to have before I can change.
Right.
So, but I would say, like, everything you put online, everything you do is going to come back to you. So just be very careful with what you say. And even if you feel like, oh, your fingers are itching, you want to write that, like, shut up, you beep. Don't do it, because it's only going to come back to you. And it sounds very cliche, but you don't want to be put on the same level as that person. You want to set a better example. You want to be up here instead of down here.
Right.
So just, I don't know, try to be Celina 2018 and not be Celina 2015 or 14. Like,
yeah.
That's all I can say.
No, I think that's awesome. I think that's so true.
Yeah.
No, it is. I think that's what people don't realize is it's not magic. It's not that once you start to grow with your career or you start to gain success that automatically there's a manual that comes with it. Like, oh, here's how you can, operate as soon as you start becoming more popular, or, there's no kind of rule book that we're given to be able to operate successfully. But I think, like you said, kind of paying it forward by being a role model to people is really good. And hopefully that helps people have confidence themselves.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. So, no, I think that's great. And I know that you've got a lot of amazing stuff planned, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. Can't talk about it now.
No.
But lots of cool stuff to come. And one of the questions I had for you in regards to that is, how do you, we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, is just that feeling of when you get worn out And then you need to stay motivated because, of course, you have these goals, right? You're like, I want to, I want to help my industry. I want to educate. I want to be that role model for people. What are some of the things that really help you fill yourself back up and keep you running on full steam?
Well, definitely isolate myself. We have been talking about this.
Yeah. I call it bubble time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Bubble time.
Bubble time. I need my bubble time. And we were also talking about this, that some people don't really understand why you need to isolate yourself or why you get so drained by doing all of this. But I would definitely say one of my biggest it's like craving I get. It's to be out in our vacation house and using pictures of it.
Yeah, it's so nice.
Oh yeah, no, it's because it's kind of like here in Redmond.
Yeah, it's very quiet.
It's very quiet, and it's the forest, and you have the trees, and you have the water, and it's like very still and quiet. And we have neighbors, where it's not like up close to you, so you're really like you kind of isolated in a bit. And that cabin was built by my grandfather.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. So, it of course, it means a lot to me. Like, you have that special vibe in there, like, very homey. And, no, that's definitely where I gain a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So, just being out there, being with my mom and dad and Christian and Martin, my dog, that's definitely something that I crave after like a full 6 months of traveling back and forth, or even in between, just going away for a couple of days and come back.
Yep.
But yeah, other from that, I kind of feel a little bit sad that I wish, and we talked about this as well, I wish that I could spend more time with my non-nail friends. Because I think it's important to kind of set yourself apart from the nail industry sometimes and not only talk about nails every single day.
Right.
So recently I've got more and more cravings just being around people that don't do nails at all. They know nothing about nails. So yeah, I would say that's also a good thing. But just sitting in the couch and watching Netflix. That's my thing. Watching Stranger Things, watching horror movies, Simpsons, Family Guy, that's where I gain a lot of energy. And just kind of have, me and Christian were on in the corners of our huge couch, and we have Martin, going back and forth. Usually he's with me, we're cuddling up, and Martin gives me so much energy. I know that's a real thing, that actually pets give you energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I think that's cool. It's kind of what you said about how you created that safe zone, right?
Yeah.
And I think people forget that you kind of need to create your own safe zone too, which is whatever that is. It could be your couch, or it could be a place that you go to, or it could just be having a nice cup of tea and a blanket. But yeah, I think that's cool that you've got these safe zones that you've set up for yourself so that you can kind of retreat and rejuvenate and then come back when you're ready.
Do you have a safe zone?
Mine is pretty much my couch too.
Oh, really?
Actually, probably I love my bed. I don't know if anyone else is like this, but my husband hates it. I actually will eat in my bed. I love my bed. If I could live in my bed, I would live in my bed. I love just sweatpants, blankets, cozy stuff.
And tea.
And oddly enough, because I'm an old lady at heart, I think, anything that has to do with needlework or knitting or anything where you kind of get in the zone.
Yeah.
Anything that helps just pull me out of my brain and I can just zone out.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, you know what I have? Computer and TV games.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
For sure.
Oh,
for sure.
Best thing. No, I've always been a gamer nerd.
Yeah.
But it's with Nintendo.
Yes.
Zelda, Mario, stuff like that. I told you about my Amiga when I was 7 or 8. It's no, I totally space out. And actually, you know what? I did this when I was a kid as well. So we had, I've been a Mac girl since I was a kid. So we've always been a Mac family since my mother worked with commercial and stuff like that. So I had these games, and they were kind of adventure puzzle games.
Cool.
So you had to think a lot. It really worked up your brain capacity. So one of them was called like Atlantis and Myst.
I've played Myst.
Oh my god,
Myst is so good.
No, it's like
it's
cult.
Impossible though.
No,
I remember when I was a little kid, it was like impossible to figure some of this stuff out.
Actually, I wasn't a big fan of the first Myst because it looks like one pixel is moving. You're working your way around in a pixel.
Yeah.
But like the second one, River, oh my god, I played that so many times. And third one, fourth one, they're all amazing. And actually, I found like the third one recently, and we set it up in our living room so I can play it from like Christian's computer or like the PC or whatever.
That's so awesome.
And it was like, I remember it being so good. Like the graphics was like
amazing.
And then when you look at it, it's like, oh shit, was I actually playing this? But after a while, you get into it.
Yeah.
And after a while, it takes like an hour, and after you're kind of like, oh my god, this is so good. But no, it's amazing, and that's what I did. Like, I had a hard time in school.
Yeah.
I always felt like an outcast, and I was working so hard. I had a lot of pressure from myself, like to be perfect, but especially with friends, because I was so awkward. I don't know what it was, but I overthink, and I always felt like I was an old, like you said, like an old woman or man, like trapped into a kid's body.
Yes.
So I was kind of like, when they were doing all the kid stuff, I was looking at it, it's like, I've been doing this probably 100 times in previous lives. So I'm kind of, it was like I was playing being a kid.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like a fraud all the way. But anyways, so what I did is that I played these games like every single night. I went into this bubble and I sat and I played these games, and I was so into it.
Yeah.
It was like, my brain was in that game. I was not present into the
That was like me with Lemmings.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Obsessed. Obsessed with freaking Lemmings.
Love Lemmings.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I did. And I think that's probably what I still do. I jump into video games or, whatever it could be, and I just disappear.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a big believer in bubble time. Mm-hmm. And I'm the same. Like, my husband and I love video games, and it was funny because my mom actually hated video games when I was growing up. Hated it.
Wow.
We weren't even allowed to have a Nintendo, like nothing. And I remember
really?
I didn't actually we had computer games here and there.
Yeah.
Which I was telling you, like, having to do MS-DOS
Oh,
commands
yeah.
to get the stupid game to open. And I was like, I can't remember how to do this when I'm 8 years old.
Yeah.
No, but I agree. I think, and it's different for everybody. I mean, some people, I think, fall into the category of, like, reading or, they love watching movies or they love video games. But I agree with you. I think what you said was really important, which is we all love what we do, but I think it can also make us kind of sick if we don't have something else to balance it out.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
And I know that, it's different for every person, but yeah, I mean, for me, I love video games too. I'm obsessed with them. And when I can find time to play them, it ends up being like an 8-hour day of playing.
Oh, no.
You think it's been like half an hour and you're like, oh my God, it's been 6.5 hours and I've been sitting here.
Seriously, when Nintendo Switch came out with Zelda,
I
was like, okay, so no one is going to talk to me for about a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be here in my, I was actually playing that at our cabin. And Kristen was kind of like, so are you going to
go outside
or do something? No, I need to finish this. So that's my bubble time. I go full in. So no, I love it. I totally love it. And the funny thing is that I actually, my parents love it as well. I mean, they bought me that Amiga computer, and I remember that so well. It was like, I got it for Christmas.
That's so awesome.
And I opened the box and was like, what did you just give me? This is not pink.
Right.
It's not a Barbie. Mm-hmm. It's not, I love Lego. Like Lego, building stuff.
Yep.
That was my thing. I was so good at building Legos. Like, oh my God. But I was like, no, what is this? It looks weird. Mm-hmm. What can I do with this? And they're like, oh my God, we're going to start playing with this. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And they set it up, and it was actually like secondhand. So I got a box full with these discs with
so cool.
Well, all these games, and they were all copied, of course. But anyways, some of them worked, some of them didn't. But my parents loved playing computer games with me.
That's
and
awesome.
my mom, we played like Myst and everything together. At least she loved that. And me and my dad were playing Lemmings together. So no, that was definitely a huge part of me growing up.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I know. Nerds at heart. I know. I love it.
You've seen my living room.
Yeah, well, I've seen it. It's so funny because you post a picture about something totally different and everyone's like, oh, cool, you're doing a podcast, blah, blah, blah. And me, I'm like, oh my God, you have Nintendo, Super Nintendo, you have like this, that, Sega
Xbox,
Genesis. I'm
PS4.
like, yeah. Oh my God, of course me. I'm like, oh my God, look at how many game consoles you have in your living room.
We have them all. We have them all.
I'm so obsessed.
Me and Christian, we have them all.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we just put our collections together and bam, it's like the ultimate collection. We have everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just have Switch and PlayStation now, but I remember the good old Sega Genesis days and oh man, good times.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I think that's awesome. So, I think this is such good advice. I think it's good for people to hear that everyone needs this, right? I mean, it's not like we're magical people that just are robots and keep going. I mean, we have to have this safe zone and the ability to regenerate ourselves, and I think this is really cool. And I definitely want to continue this conversation later because I wanted to talk to you about all the awesome stuff that you're doing this year.
Yeah.
So that people can hear about, after you've had all your bubble time, all the awesome stuff you're going to do.
Oh, yeah.
But we can't talk about that on this episode. So you guys stay tuned. I've got more coming up with Celina in a later episode. She's got some awesome stuff scheduled for 2018 and beyond. Oh, that kind of sounds cool.
Oh, yeah, it did.
2018 and beyond.
Oh, yay!
Yeah. So we'll definitely continue this conversation, and you guys will get to hear more from her this year. And I can't wait to see all the awesome stuff you do either.
Yeah, exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And as one girl to another, I think it's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
All the stuff that you do.
And in Swedish, what is that? Well, you know that.
Grym. Yeah. Yeah, I got to learn Swedish this trip. I'm so excited. So now I can tell people to go to hell.
Yeah.
And I can also say I am awesome and what my name is.
Yeah. And you can do it in Norwegian.
And I can also do it in Norwegian Norwegian.
Yeah.
And so yeah. I'll practice a little bit here as we sign off. Tack hejdå.
Hejdå.
This is Elizabeth Morris signing off from the Nail Hub. This podcast is sponsored by Nails Magazine, the professional nail industry's leading publication. Have a suggestion, question, or concern? Send me an email at liz@thenailhub.com. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at The Nail Hub, and check out the Nail Hub YouTube channel for more episodes and tutorials. Want customized business consulting, access to classes, amazing products, and more? Visit thenailhub.com and check out all the wonderful things we provide. Our goal is to help you reach your ultimate potential. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next episode.